Have you watched any of the Bellator fights tonight?
Uh, I was just eating with some of the guys, the fighters, and the trainers, and they had on their iPhone. They had the Bellator main event with Ryan Bader and the Great One, and I saw that, and right off the bat, I noticed that Fedor was just a little bit not too comfortable swinging. He was a little off. Vader was right on T, and I knew it. I saw it coming right away after the first, little altercation, not altercation, but the first throws they were doing. I saw Fedor was just a little off, and I said, oh. Next, boom, boom. It's a short night for Fedor, one of the greatest heavyweight of all time. I don't think that this tarnished his record, as far as being called the greatest of all time. I still think he's the greatest of all time, based on his accomplishments and being 46 years of age and is still going out there doing what he's doing, But I would love to have seen him finish it on a better note, but he's still the greatest one. So hats off to him, and his great legendary career.
For sure. I mean, I watched him since the Pride days, and nobody could touch him, and he was like a cyborg. He was so stoic and humble. You couldn't read the guy. He walks in, you don't know if he's mad or he's angry or he's ready to go. He just walks in and then clobbered everybody. And most entertaining to watch.
Yeah, very entertaining to watch. Very entertaining. I mean, and what are you going to say?
Did you ever go to Pride for any Pride fights?
Yes, I was at some of them. First one I went to, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe it was Bobby Southworth, my guy, versus Vitor Belfort was the first one. If they fought in Pride, then I was there.
Was that in Japan?
In Japan, yes.
Yeah, how was that, like 40, 50,000 people after going to like the backyard King of the Cage events?
For this one here, if I remember correctly, it was a smaller event, but it might have been 20,000. So it wasn't one of those. It wasn't the Tokyo Dome type. When I went to the Tokyo Dome for Frank Shamrock, when he fought there on the modified rules against I forgot why I forgot the guy's name, but anyways, he fought on the modified rules.
Was that a Pancrase?
No, it was the K1. It was K1. It was K1. That Frank's was a special bout under Elvis Sinisic.
Elvis Sinisic from Australia.
Yeah.
And here you are, back in Australia, fighting Australia.
Yeah.
That's when they only had one fighter.
Yeah. Elvis was one of them, yeah.
That was the time, man. I remember that. Yeah. It was interesting to see all the old vets that came to the cage to show their respect. Chuck was there, Chuck Liddell, and Randy Couture, Mark Coleman, Gracie, several couple Gracies were there, and they were all there. Rampage, just to see him off. It was really nice.
Frank Shamrock. Yeah, Frank Shamrock was there. So was Enzo Gracie. He's a legend, big time legend himself. So there was quite a few legends on there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think was Hammer House there too. Was it?
Yeah. Mark Coleman, the Beast.
Rampage. I think I saw Rampage in there.
Yeah, Rampage was there.
Probably pretty cool night, right? For a lot of nostalgic people that wanted to see the greats, and it's just funny how time goes by, and you remember watching these guys when they were on their heyday, and like Chuck Liddell was the very first actually megastar, in MMA, the very first one. He was the rock star, and he was everywhere. And then came after him, Tito Ortiz came, et cetera. But it was pretty cool.
It was funny because Fedor went to hug him, and he like touched his belly. He's like, "Oh," it's like you need to get in shape. I'm like, "Okay," says one bear to another bear, but it was kind of funny. But yeah, Scott's been put on a hell of a show. Bellator's looking money. The fights were dynamic.
I heard the fights were dynamic. I heard that there was it three fights on the main card, and that was it on CBS.
I'm not sure what it was exactly on CBS. I think I stream or something. I forget how I get to see it. But the thing is, it's like the fights that were there, like the Irish guy. Darn it, Brandon, I think his name is. I gotta remember his name. Yeah, he was destroying. Just take down, take
Ward?
down, take down.
Brendan Ward?
Yeah, Brendan Ward. Yeah. I get all my UFC memorized. I know your guys in Bellator.
And then what the middleweight champ for Bellator, he defended.
He's Brendan Ward.
Everybody after him, right after Brendan Ward, it was the middleweight champ, right? Eblem, Johnny Eblem, or something like that. Eblem.
Yeah,
Eblem, yeah. His name? I should know that name because you have to pay attention to the guys that people consider the best, and everybody's talking about him, being the best out of all the middleweights. So he's someone to watch for. I've still yet to see him, but everybody's talking about him like that. So usually the consensus usually is when a lot of people talk about him, it usually turns out to be the real deal. So not going to be surprising to see him develop into what people say. Not too many coaches go out and talk about someone as high as he's been touted by his coaches. You don't see that too often. When I do it, it always comes through for my guys. So when I see other coaches do it, it's usually some truth behind it also.